Today we're having a good old yarn with Michelle, a QHS member whose journey is as rugged and awe-inspiring as the red dirt tracks of the outback. So how did she carve her path to success in this wide brown land? Let's roll up our sleeves, take a peek behind the curtain, and unearth the grit behind the scenes.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle. I was born in Sheffield, England in 1971. I am the eldest daughter of Christine and Trevor. I have a younger sister, Joanne, who introduced me to QHS, and I have two stepbrothers, Brett and Jason. We emigrated to Australia in November 1980. After a couple of years, my parents split and then eventually divorced. At that time, my granddad, so my mum's dad, offered to pay for us to return to England and be with our family as we had no one in Australia. Mum made the decision to refuse that offer. She was adamant that we would have a better life in Australia and better job opportunities as we got into adulthood. It turns out she was right. And honestly, we can't thank her enough for making that selfless decision to sacrifice being with her family for us. Then in 1989, I met my husband. We were married in 1993. We've been married happily ever since, so over 31 years. We have two beautiful girls. We are very blessed. Our eldest, Jamie, is a qualified hairdresser, and I'm very lucky that she does my hair for me. She's just returned from a 2-year working holiday in Canada, where she's been living her best life. Our youngest, Lauren, she is a civil engineer. She moved with work across to Queensland, Australia. So to get my cuddles from her, it's a 5-hour plane trip, but well worth it. Then I left school and got an admin job, which I've been in admin pretty much since then. Full-time to start with, part-time once the girls came along. And on top of that, in 2007, I trained to be a group fitness instructor. I teach approximately 8 classes a fortnight, and I have a great balance with my work life because I work 3 full days a week in the office, and then the rest of the time I teach my classes as well. And it's always great to get paid to exercise. I think due to my choices, my life choices as well, I have been very healthy considering. I was born with my L5 and sacrum fused, so I don't have the vertebrae for when I'm twisting. So what happens, so I've been told a couple of decades ago by a health professional, was my muscles take all the twist, so they go into like a winding type position, and a few times a year my hips actually lift and rotate out, which is very painful for me. Puts me out of action for about a week. I can barely walk, I can barely drive the car because it's so painful, and I generally spend a couple of nights sleeping on the floor because I can't get myself into bed. But I do bounce back. I go back to my exercise, so I feel blessed. I try not to complain too much about that because it could be a lot worse, and I manage it. And then in 2016, my hairdresser found a lump on the top of my head. I originally thought it was just a bit of psoriasis, and over a few haircuts she noticed some changes. She had originally asked me to go to the doctor. At the time we were looking after my mother-in-law who had motor neurons disease. She was living with us, and we had carers in, we had nurses in, and I made her a priority and didn't think of myself as one, thinking it was nothing. Once I saw the doctor, he sent me immediately to a specialist. The specialist pretty much had me back in 2 weeks. He said it was a BCC, so it was a basal cell sarcoma. It had to be removed. It had embedded into my skull, so they had to take about 3 centimetres of my skull to remove the cancerous cells. Due to that, they took skin from my arm and put it onto my head to seal it. And so to this day, I have a little indent in my head where no hair grows, and I wear headbands just to keep it covered and not risk it sort of being exposed when I'm out and about. In 2020, I tore my calf, a 3 centimetre tear in my calf. That was just at the gym doing mountain climbers. Not sure how that happened. The physio blues, I overdid it. I didn't take a rest day for nearly 7 days of exercise. And he reminded me I was getting a little bit older. So there you go, lesson learnt. Later in 2020, I found a lump on one breast. And then in 2022, I discovered a lump on the other breast. But thankfully, they both came back as benign cysts, or simple cysts was the term they gave me, layman's term. So non-cancerous, I just keep monitoring these and have regular mammograms. Then in 2022, I found a lesion on my left gum, my lower jaw, and it was non-cancerous. It was called, I have to read this, a focal cemento-osseous dysplasia. So a non-cancerous lesion, and it also, the CT showed a moderate bit of periodontal bone loss as well. The last couple of years, I've been going through menopause, which has also brought on migraines, originally monthly. After about 12 months, my doctor wanted to make sure that it wasn't anything more sinister than being hormonal through menopause, so I had an MRI. That showed up clear, so great news. And then last year I got a tooth infection in the middle of the year, and I saw 2 dentists who couldn't determine what was wrong, why I was in so much pain. The pain was just there 24/7. I needed antibiotics to settle it, but then it still couldn't eat on it once it was settled, so I went to a specialist, an endodontist. The endodontist found that one of the roots was full of pus in my bottom right tooth, and began to do like a root canal treatment to clear it out. So at the moment, I'm in the throes of that. Believe it or not, it took 6 months for us to get some sort of diagnosis of what was going on. From that toothache though, I did end up getting nearly weekly migraines, which again, the doctor insisted maybe on a CT and bloods, again, just to make sure that there was nothing that had changed or was underlying within my body. So the CT came back clear. My bloods, pretty much in the doctor's words, were everything's perfect, other than a little bit of elevated cholesterol, which can be managed. From that, again, it just meant that potentially the infection itself and my hormones were, again, part of the cause of my migraines. So I am hoping, if we do get the V9, then I'm hoping that will certainly help with these medical issues that have occurred in the last few years. The Touch seems to be doing a great job. My migraines have gone from weekly to about 2 to 3 weekly, so they're not as common. The one thing I did do though, when I got the toothache, I was still just got my subscription to QHS, and the meds weren't working. I was just in pain, but the meditation actually after one session seemed to give me some relief, and I was able to sleep for a little while. I have diaried this, and also my back. It was due for its cycle to go out, and again I did a diary because the touch created this burning feeling where it felt like it was pulling, I don't know, just let's say heat through my body, but then through the floor. And weirdly my hips adjusted and went back to normal, and I didn't go through the cycle as I have been used to it most of my life. So there you go. Anyway, I just say watch this space. I'm looking forward to seeing the type of healing that the touch and QHS itself has to bring this year. Thank you.
Join us on the Prequel, where every story matters and every voice is heard. Because here at QHS, we're all about healing, learning, and growing together.